Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Spike Brothers Cardfight Vanguard deck profile for post the Raging Tactics. Finally got new support for the Spike Brothers clan in the new Raging Tactics booster pack. Really awesome support, definitely does help with the whole premise of the Spike Brother deck, which hasn't really strayed too far from the original point of the deck, which is to have a lot of pressured attacks with plenty of rear guards you can do, and using Imaginary Gift Force or Imaginary Gift Force 2, depending on which one you use, definitely does help with the new abilities of the new Spike Brother units to move your force markers to different circles, giving your units additional power, or just being able to use the Force 2 marker to have pressure on every single Vanguard circle when you attack with it. So it's a really awesome deck. Big thanks to my girlfriend Marissa for letting me use her Spike Brothers deck for the deck profile. Definitely happy with the results. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for our main grade 3 unit, I run the 4 Dead Heat Bullspike with this one. It is a pressure unit which on Vanguard, when your unit attacks, you can Soul Blast 1 and move all of your force markers to that unit's circle. So if you run Imaginary Gift Force 1, you can move all the plus 10,000 power force markers to that circle and have a huge number stacked. But also if you just have the one Imaginary Gift Force 2 marker on the field, which you have to remember with the Imaginary Gift Force 2. With this one, when acquired, put this marker on your Vanguard or rear. The original critical of the unit there becomes 2. You may put it on the same circle, but the critical does not stack. So what you have to remember, obviously, is if you have more than one Force 2, the critical won't stack. But early game with Bullspike, you can hit for amazing pressure, being able to have each unit have the additional critical. And the added bonus, if you have a critical trigger, that at least will stack along with the other for a critical of 3 if you're attacking with that one unit. So Bullspike definitely does help with that Soul Blast, which you can just ride consistently into other Bullspikes to have that soul to build up on, and a couple other cards in the deck as well for that pressure, which you can do very easily and either make your opponent guard or they risk the critical hoping to get a trigger, but then have to rely on other cards later on for protection also. And Bullspike also has the once per turn Vanguard effect. When the attack of your unit on a circle with a force marker does not hit, draw a card and choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So it also helps to destroy your opponent's resources while gaining you ones back in your hand to use. Sadly, it's just a once per turn. I think this card would be completely broke if it was just a Vanguard effect when it doesn't hit, giving you that option. If they maybe made it a counterblast, but I think they just decided to stick with the once per turn since this card would be completely pressure wise, making it so your opponent would either have to guard the attack or take it. But either way, still having big pressure benefits for the user of Bullspike. And then for the backup grade 3, I run 4 Juggernaut Maximum. On Vanguard or rear, one place, this unit gets plus 10,000 until end of turn. And at the beginning of your turn on rear guard, during your main phase, put this unit into your soul, search your deck for up to 1 Juggernaut Maximum, call it to rear, and shuffle your deck. So there it has the one side effect of having to rely on this card's big power. Is next turn you put it into the soul and search out another one. You'll still have to put it into your soul, even if you don't have any more searches. That's the one big cost for going with the big power with Juggernaut Maximum. But a lot of times I also like to rely on Imaginary Gift Force 2 because then I don't have to rely on the plus 10 just with the power that Maximum can get on its own, and then also just being able to build up your soul with its own effect as well. And plus it also calls out another Juggernaut Maximum which you can then have to get the plus 10 since it says just one place. It doesn't have to be from hand or the deck specifically. This card just gives you that power. And it also has the Imaginary Gift Force marker as well if you do have to ride it. Normally I just prefer to have Bullspike on the Vanguard and then just rely on Juggernaut Maximum for the rear guard pressure, but you still have that option for the force marker with this card if you need to use it. And I also like to run 10 grade 3s for my lineup. So to finish off the grade 3s, I run 2 Bad End Dragger on Vanguard or rear when it attacks, counterblast 1, and put it rear guard on the bottom of your deck. And this unit gets plus 5,000 and extra critical until the end of that battle. So being a 13k power grade 3, it has just that pressure you can use along with the additional force power to hit for some pretty high numbers. And when rode upon, call this card to rear, retire all of your opponent's rear guards in the column it was called in. So if you don't have the option for your setup, or you just don't have the cards you prefer with Bullspike and you prefer to wait a turn, Bad End Dragger can be a really good ride potential target because then your opponent can take their next turn, they can build up their rear guards, and then come next turn you can call out Bad End Dragger to the same column that those rear guards are in and take care of them, along with giving you the extra rear guard. I run it at 2 though. The only reason being is that Juggernaut Maximum definitely needs to be run at the 4 mark to keep the full potential of the card. And Bullspike being your preferred ride target, I just found it, I didn't really like trying out 12 in the deck. I had to cut down maybe on more grade 2s to run full Bat and Dragger, which I just didn't feel necessary because then you have to go through the Vanguard ride as well. I find 2 just to be enough for the plays you want to do. And that is it for the grade 3s. We'll now move on to the grade 2s. I run 4 Power Back Ronaldo. With this one on Vanguard or Rear, when placed from hand, counterblast 1 and put a card from your hand into your soul. Look up to the same number of cards from the top of your deck as your Vanguard's grade. Call up to 3 cards from among them to Rear and put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. So having the grade 3 Vanguard is your best potential with Ronaldo. This card uses your counterblasts. It's just a 1 counterblast though, which Bullspike doesn't use any, so you have that to rely on, but Ronaldo can easily fill up your field as well and put anything you don't want to use back on the bottom of your deck, because most of the time you won't want to call triggers out with this deck as well. So just relying on Ronaldo for that field build up definitely does come in handy. And since it also works on Vanguard or Rear, you have that option for more potential calls when you ride it as a Vanguard target. And the fact that it has a plus 10,000 power as well definitely does come in handy as well, just for defensively against your opponent. And I also run 4 Derange Thaddeus. With this one on Rear, when it attacks, counterblast 1 and move all of your force markers to this unit circle. So if you don't have the pressure of Bullspike, let's say you had to go into a different ride target, you still have Thaddeus, since Juggernaut Maximum or even Bat and Dragger will still give you your imaginary gift force marker, and then you'll be able to use Thaddeus for its own ability to move that force marker to it with just the counterblast when it attacks. And also on Rear, when an attack hits, if this unit circle has a force marker, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So comboed with Bullspike, it's definitely pressure, since either the attack will hit and you'll retire something, or the attack won't hit and you'll retire something. You have both of those options to kill your opponent's rear guards, and also just having that pressure with the force markers means, like I said, with imaginary gift force 1, you'll have that pressure and then the extra critical with force 2. And also I run the 2 Spike Bouncer. I have a third option, but that would be the next card if you want to swap in for a third Spike Bouncer for the last grade 2 option. But with Spike Bouncer on Vanguard or Rear, when placed, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, look at the same number of cards from the top of your deck as your Vanguard's grade. Call up to 1 card from among them to Rear and put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. So just having that when placed effect as well, when you call other units, gives you more extenders to go into other cards. And at the end of the battle, they attack, counterblast 1, put this unit into your soul and draw a card. So not only does Spike Bouncer help to build up your soul for cards like Bullspike to use the Soul Blast 1 skill to move all the force markers to the unit circle that is attacking, but also giving you that draw power, gives you resources back in your hand for guarding against your opponent during their next turn, while also, like I said, building up the soul with Spike Bouncer. I have the 1 Treasured Black Panther within here. When it attacks, Soul Blast 1, this unit gets plus 5,000 or plus 15,000 to end of battle. If this unit got 15,000, put this unit into your soul at the end of that battle. More soul build up, but if you wanted to put in a third Spike Bouncer and take out the 1 Black Panther, you could do that as well for running a 3 count of these for the numbers. They just really do help. Each grade 2 giving you that consistency for either being able to retire your opponent's rear guard, moving the force markers, or calling out. Each one helps just to give you field presence or take care of your opponents on the field. And that's it for the grade 2s. Moving on to the grade 1s, I run 4 Offensive Punter. For this one being a rare, is a really, really good card. On Rearguard, when it boosts, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets plus 2,000 until end of that battle. At the end of the battle, draw a card and put this unit on the bottom of your deck. So it just goes through the deck a little faster with this card also. And when rode upon, you may call this card to rear. So almost like Bat and Dragger, it doesn't have the additional retire effect, but still gives you cards on the Rearguard to give you a potential boost for the draw pressure as well. So definitely a very good ride target also. I love that the Spike Brother cards all have something that involves with the Vanguard circle for your grade 1. So most of the time you'll definitely have good ride targets to go into for sure. And I also run 4 Gyro Slinger, one of the goodies from the first Destructive Roar booster pack. On Vanguard or Rear, when placed, put a card from your hand into your soul. Look at the same number of cards from the top of your deck as your Vanguard's grade. Call up to 1 card from among them to Rear and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And the unit call gets plus 5 until end of turn. So early game, you could potentially call Juggernaut Maximum, which can hit for some huge numbers, and early game build up your soul as well each turn, as long as you protect it from your opponent's attacks, which I'm sure they'll try to retire. Gyro Slinger just has another good Vanguard or Rearguard setup just for the cost of 1 card into your soul, but more soul build up, so you have a lot of cards with Bullspike as well when you use this card. And also, I run the 2 Snapper Devil. Was debating putting this into a 4th copy. On Vanguard, when attack hits, draw a card, so it's great when you go 2nd, since you'll have the first attack for that pressure. And on Rear, when it boosts counter +1, move all of your force marker units to the boosted unit circle. So another option, along with your other cards that move the force markers, definitely does come in handy as well. I have the 2 Commander Gary Gannon for the last grade 1 spot in the deck, just for the draw power and shuffling he does into the deck, recycling cards for more proper ones, and then also putting cards from your hand so you can put triggers back from your hand into your deck to reuse. So very, very useful with Gary Gannon as well. But if you wanted to put 4 Snapper Devil, you could try that out also. And then for the grade 0s for your starter, Mecha Trainer, I think it's the most well-known Spike Brothers starter at that, with the Rotopon draw effect. And then for the trigger lineup, decided to go with the 6 critical, 6 draw, so 4 Killer Parade Mavis and 2 Silence Joker. Just more balance, gives you more hand potential as well with your triggers and this count. And then for the draw triggers, I run the 4 Cheer Girl Marilyn, being the Draw Sentinel, and the 2 Cheerful Links for the 6 count. Like I said, balance, you have the pressure with the criticals, but the hand consistency for the draws definitely does help also. And lastly, for the heal, the 4 Cheer Girl Tiara for the finishing up the deck. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Definitely a fun deck, so look into it if you're looking to build a force deck that definitely does focus on the force markers for a lot of its plays. And until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.